This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Welcome back to The Secret to Everything with Dr. Kimberly McGeorge. At least I hope you have discovered us long before now. We are so grateful to be one of the featured shows on the beautiful and amazing X-Zone that reaches listeners just like you all over the world. Remember, you can always write the X-Zone or write us on our website and tell us who and what you would like to hear more of. But you guys are really patient and wonderful because you always just love who we have on, and we love that about you. And so if you want to learn more, because this show is obviously sponsored by thesecrettoeverything.com, if you would like to learn more, we are offering currently a free gift. We're kind of in the middle of free aura readings. We're switching over to free chakra readings, but we'll catch you somewhere in the middle. All you have to do is send a picture, your birth date, and we will deliver you a wonderful and very insightful personalized reading straight to your mailbox. We've got some great classes coming up. We are coming out of our Magic of Intuition class. We're going into, I rarely do group readings because I'm too busy, but we're actually going to have a relationship reading call with a personal MP3. And that's coming up. If you want to know more about that, again, sign up and you can receive our newsletter. And everybody says this, and this is actually one of my pet peeves. It's probably one of yours too. Everybody says we don't send out very much email. But I can't tell you the people that say that I think like 4 a month is too much. That's just me. Like 1 a month, that's bearable. That's informative. That's nice. Gosh, you guys, I am so busy. I'm so bad at newsletters. People actually write me and they're like, when are you going to send out a newsletter? When are you going to mail us something? I don't think I'm getting any mail from you. And I'm like, that's because I don't send out mail, you guys. You know where to find me. You know where to listen to me. You know how to Google me. And I'm very easy to find. And our services are very easy to read about. And so we don't like to pester you. We want to be there for you. We want to support you. We want to bring you these amazing guests. But we don't want to be those people. I mean, just this week, there are at least 10 people that I have unsubscribed from 5 times. And I am like, wait a minute, didn't I just unsubscribe from you last week? That's like one of my super pet peeves. And everybody's like, well, the providers like Infusionsoft and all these, providers that people, MailChimp, that people send out their emails through, they're like, well, they regulate this. No, they don't regulate it. If you have a larger mailing list, you can get away with a certain percentage, and people know that and they take advantage of it. And so anyway, that's one of my goals this year. I have I shouldn't tell you guys this, but I have 38,000 back emails or more. And my goal is to wipe everything down to 0. Can you imagine? Everybody's just like, well, start a new one. Well, then you end up with 10 emails that have 54,000 emails in each one. It just doesn't energetically feel good to go into your email and see all those emails. So that's one of my in my spare time projects that I've been working on a little bit. I know you guys are curious. You're like, tell us about the guest. Who's coming on? He's coming on. Well, by the way, you can find all that information. If I didn't say secrettoeverything.com, that's where you can find everything. So our guest today, and we probably won't get a chance to talk to her because as usual, I have ranted and raved through the introduction time, but I want to get in some really solid conversation. And there's a number of reasons why, because not necessarily the doula topic. And some of you are like, what'd she just say? What'd she just say? Are we talking about UFOs? We're talking about aliens? That's a new kind of alien. No, wrong. You're going the wrong direction. Come back. We are actually going to be talking about kind of where I would put it in alternative medicine, alternative health, alternative childbirth, some really cool stuff, kind of in the area of midwifery, herbal medicine. But you are going to just love our guest. She is super informative about a lot of things, not just being a doula. So who is the mysterious she? It is Samantha Lee Wright. She's free-spirited. She's tech-loving. And that is so important. We love that at Secret to Everything. You have to be tech loving to hang with us. She is a multi-passionate entrepreneur, and I love this, a beautiful mother. She's a childbirth educator, labor doula. I know some of you guys are like, what? I just hear it. What? Postpartum doula. And she is the host of the world's #1. This is cool. I didn't even know this podcast on essential oils. We'll have to ask her about this, the essential oil revolution. I'd say we'll probably wander down that road a little too. She also co-owns and operates High Country Doulas, a professional doula agency in the heart of the Western North Carolina, where she, along with her team of professionals, helps women and their families thrive through the exciting and challenging times. Amen, sister, of pregnancy, birth, and early babyhood, especially birth and early babyhood. Pregnancy, I think we can handle that. Not sure about the other stuff. So we will be definitely chatting with Samantha about all kinds of things when we get back from the next break. But I also love Samantha because she lives in some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful country. I used to live outside of Asheville. She lives kind of in that neck of the woods. So she just lives in a beautiful part of the country, pretty dang close to me. So we'll be talking to Samantha. You're listening to The Secret to Everything with Dr. Kimberly McGeorge on the X Zone. We'll be right back.
Hi everyone, Rob McConnell here, and I wanted to spend a moment on internet streaming. Everybody has heard about internet streaming, but not many know much about it. Did you know the internet streams just about everything?
Movies.
From new releases to old classics.
TV shows.
Almost every show, every episode, and much more. But the question has always been, how do you do it? Well now, thanks to the folks at 123 Ready TV, I have the answer for you. They have developed a simple program app, 123 Ready TV, that you install on your Windows PC, Android smartphone, or Android tablet that can have you streaming like a pro in less than 5 minutes. You truly won't believe how much is available or how easy it is to do until you try. And for a one-time cost of only $19.99, this product is a real winner. To learn more about 123 Ready TV, visit our website at www.xzbn.net.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
How would you like to be able to read other people's minds? Well, the next best thing is here. When you know how to read a person's name, you know how the person thinks, feels, and behaves. Each letter in our name holds a key to unlock our true essence. Our name contains both our gifts and challenges in this lifetime. Mnemology science discovers personality secrets hidden in the placement of the letters of our names, including the first and last impression people remember about us. Sharon shows us how to interpret the arrangement of letters as outlined in her book, Know the Name, Know the Person. Sharon Lynn Wyeth created mnemology science after 18 years of research and testing her theories, and has supported thousands of people around the world in understanding themselves and others better. You'll enjoy Sharon's unique teachings as she shares her system to learn the gifts behind your given birth name. Even if you don't like your birth name, there are jewels in this book. If you're thinking of changing your name, ready to name your child, or wanting to get along better with others, this is the book for you. If you'd like to improve your relationships and change your life for the better, get the book today, Know the Name, Know the Person, or visit www.knowthename.com. That's www.knowthename.com.
Take a step back in time and discover old Florida cuisine at Marsh Landing Restaurant in Fellsmere, Florida. Enjoy delicacies such as frog legs, gator tail, catfish, and swamp cabbage, or enjoy the more traditional cuisine such as hand-cut Angus steaks, ribs, and seafood. Join us for breakfast with a southern flair featuring sweet potato pancakes, biscuits and gravy, and much more. Planning a party? Marsh Landing's private dining rooms can accommodate groups from 8 to 80 people. While you visit, enjoy the historic pictures, artifacts, and stories that line the walls. Marsh Landing is truly a unique experience. Marsh Landing Restaurant, 44 North Broadway in historic downtown Fellsmere, or visit marshlandingrestaurant.com. Marsh Landing, old Florida cuisine at its best.
You are listening to The Secret to Everything with Dr. Kimberly McGeorge. And today we are talking about natural childbirth. Samantha's probably going to be like, why do you keep saying the word midwife? Well, I kind of have a reason, which I'll explain in a minute. We're going to be especially talking about doulas. I think we'll wander maybe into some herbal medicine, essential oils, all sorts of juicy stuff. I don't think I've ever plumbed the depths of Ms. Samantha Lee Wright, but we are going to do our best today to do that. So welcome to The Secret to Everything, Samantha.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I love you so much. I love what you do. And apologize, I kind of took up our intro thing, but I have to get these rants out so I can completely focus on you and the topic. So let's start at the beginning. First, before I start questioning you and we get into some great discussion, I just want to share, this was really foreign to me. A lot of you may not know, but I'm happy to share. Maybe it'll reach someone out there, but I was an older unwed mother. I had a surprise pregnancy, my first daughter. Of course, I'm so thankful I did. But I was working in radio. I know you guys are shocked about that. I was working in radio at the time in Columbus, Ohio. And it was like a mix of music and talk radio. And one day, I don't know, I was at the coffee pot or something, and I was getting ready to leave my shift. And the person interviewed, of course, they broadcast it throughout the whole station, like you really want to listen to, where you work. But anyway, and this woman came on, and she was a natural, I think she was a certified nurse midwife. And I am like, oh my gosh, like I can't imagine this is my first baby, you guys. I'm in like not the best situation. I'm like, do I really want to be pregnant? Do I really want this baby? And this woman comes on, and I'm telling you, Samantha, in like 45 minutes, she had me so sold. And listen to this, on natural childbirth, that I went on to have my first two babies, including my very first baby, all with midwives. The first two were certified nurse midwives. The last two, don't be shocked, you guys, in my own bed at home with a lay nurse midwife. And I'm very happy to say never any medication, completely natural. Now, I almost died, but that's another tale for another time. So I don't want to tell you everything's rosy, but it was absolutely beautiful and lovely. Nothing like being in your own home and your own surroundings and being surrounded by people you love. And I know you totally understand that energy. But all that to say, shows like this, and I know you know this, Samantha, are so crucial to getting the message out there that there's services and concepts like the area you work in. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. So let's start at the beginning. So you are not, and maybe you are, but you can correct me. You are not a nurse midwife or a midwife, or are you?
No, absolutely not. I would never want to make that claim. To become a midwife, or especially a certified nurse midwife, takes many, many years of schooling and certifying and training. So I won't say I'm just a doula, but I'm a doula, which is a very different,
right. I'm just
different role.
Okay, so let's say, when do you come in during the childbirth process? I guess I'll ask you that first. When does a doula, and where does that word come from, and what does that mean? If you could kind of fill us in.
So, yeah, starting at the beginning, let's say the word doula comes from the Greek word for a woman who serves. So it's a very humble definition in my, it's a very humbling position to say, I'm here to serve. I'm just here to serve other women. And, doulas can take on many different forms, and that is a big misconception that we are midwives or we are like midwives. But unlike your doctor or your midwife who focuses on your health and the health of your baby, your doula really just focuses on your experience, your goals, your worries, your fears, your comfort, and your emotion. And another big difference too is that as a doula, I'm able to provide continuous care to my clients during childbirth. So with lay midwives or home birth midwives, it's probably a little bit different, and our roles are a little more similar because lay midwives or home birth midwives tend to come into the scene relatively early on. But especially for women birthing in the hospital with a doctor or a nurse midwife, typically their provider only comes in when they're getting kind of close to the end and close to pushing. And even then, they might kind of bounce around from room to room, taking care of lots of different patients at the same time. And with a doula, we are right there by their side for that entire journey. So sometimes I meet clients in their home in early labor, and we hang out there, and then we sort of all assess together when it's time to go to the hospital. And then sometimes I just meet my clients at the hospital when things are a little bit heavier as well. So it's all kind of up to the client when they want to bring me in.
Oh gosh, where were you? Like, I kind of wish that had been a program about doulas, and then like the doula had told me about the midwives, because I would have loved to have had that. A lot of people have their moms and sisters and friends and husbands and, whatever for support, their family. But I think, a doula provides a really unique role because you aren't family. That kind of gives you just a unique perspective that family may not have. It gives the mother kind of a non-biased ear. If she wants to say that was the most horrific thing, I think my baby's ugly. Don't write me, you guys. I did not think my babies were ugly, but some people do. Like, you know what I mean? Like the secrets that a lot of people carry, or that they're really sad and everybody else expects them to be happy. I think it's really cool to have somebody that is there for you and the baby and the family, but isn't family. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. There's something really special that an outsider is able to bring in, especially when that outsider is a professional and they just know a lot about birth and babies. So I say having a doula is like having a best friend by your side who knows a lot about birth and babies, but she's able to bring this outsider perspective in. So she's not super emotionally attached the whole time, which some people might feel like, wait, it's like, that's your role to be like there invested emotionally. And it's like, no, actually my role is to sit back, let her do her thing. And then if things get really hard and heavy, like I imagine when you said you almost died in childbirth, that was probably a very traumatic experience. I imagine your partner or whoever was there, with you was probably freaking out. And so as a doula, since we're not emotionally attached, we're able to not freak out basically, and really just be there for our client in whatever mode that she wants to be. Especially let's say she wanted a natural childbirth and ends up changing her mind and wanting an epidural. We're not attached to that outcome, and we can say, that's awesome. Let me help you get that epidural, and let me help you have the best experience possible with that epidural.
I love that, because the word that came to mind while you were talking was advocate. Like, I think you're really an advocate for the mom, for a positive experience for the baby, for everyone, because I don't think you would not necessarily help someone in the family if you could. But I just love that advocate, like, energy. I mean, I think I need you to move in with me, like, for the rest of my life. Like, forget birth. Like, I need an advocate every day. I love that.
Well, I'm also a postpartum doula, and there's really no clear term to when that ends. So.
I can hire you. I am still. Wait, what's my youngest? 16. Am I still in post?
Sure.
I love that. So listen, ladies, I call first dibs on Samantha. Don't everybody like call her up and be like, "Oh gosh, that's hilarious." So I'm gonna go kind of all the way around, but we'll get somewhere eventually, I promise. But so about how many births or women would you say that you personally, I know you have a team and run a nice business, but how many have you personally been at, would you estimate? Or maybe for sure?
No, I do keep track. I've been to exactly 32, which is relatively small. I live in a very small town, so there's not very many births here. And then now that I run the agency, I typically don't go to as many births as I used to. And I sort of source that out to my team, who I'm training and teaching to be the best doulas they can be.
Yeah, I really love that too. I love that it must be growing though, because you do have a team. Now, is your team all in your area of North Carolina, or is it all over? Kind of how wide is that circle?
Yeah, so our agency is just for our local community. So it's called High Country Doulas, and we just serve communities in the High Country. So that's Boone, North Carolina, where we're focused at, and then sort of spreading out from there down to places like Wilkesboro, and we could service Asheville, but that's a little bit far as well. So, but there's lots of agencies like mine spread out all throughout the world, but we're also independently run for sure. And actually, where your show is being recorded, Hamilton, Canada, there's a really wonderful agency, Hamilton Family Doulas, there as well. So we're really spread out.
That was so nice of you to give them a shout out. It's so funny because I caught a word, and you guys have to kind of be from around the mountains and kind of, different areas, because that's an interesting term, because you said high country. I wonder if some of the doulas have, including you, have like interesting stories, because are you guys actually sometimes going up into maybe more isolated areas in the mountains?
Yes, sometimes we are. So especially on the snowy, wintry days where the roads are really dangerous, we have to be very careful when traveling for sure. But I think that there's definitely a mystique when people hear high country and that I live in the Appalachian Mountains, and they think cabin in the woods. And, even though I personally have lived in a little 10 by 10 cabin in the woods, no running water, all that jazz here, wow. That's not typically what you find around here. And we're quite modern as well.
I almost want to go off on a little bunny trail. Did you say no running water?
Oh, yes, I was in my early 20s and, really interested in learning about primitive skills and off-grid living. And, we were young and naive and like, we could do anything. So yeah, we lived in a little hunting cabin with no water, no electricity, and we'd have to carry our jugs of water up this giant hill. And actually, when I became pregnant with my first, I remember there was one trip up the hill that just killed me, and I was out the whole day with horrible morning sickness, and I said, honey, I don't think we can stay here anymore.
Wow, that's all I have to say to that. How long did that last? I mean, how long did you guys live there? That sounded really negative.
No. We lived there for a year and a half, and it was amazing. I would not trade it for the world. It was just, you're so interested in energies and that kind of thing. There is no better way to just connect with, the energy that nature has than just living. I wouldn't say isolated, because we were with there was a really amazing community down there, and we had lots of friends, and we did potlucks all the time and jam bands around the fireplace. It was amazing, but I'll just never forget that feeling of being so connected to the outside world. It was great.
That, I can kind of go there on your timeline and feel that, and it feels really cool. It just feels very unique. I always encourage my clients and everyone, and I talk about it a lot on this show. It's funny that you brought up the whole energy thing, because really, if you think about it, our body just has such a delicate, electrical field around it. And we'll be back. I'm going to keep talking, but we'll be back after this break with Samantha right here on The Secret to Everything.
Hi everyone, Rob McConnell here, and I wanted to spend a moment on internet streaming. Everybody has heard about internet streaming, but not many know much about it. Did you know the internet streams just about everything?
Movies,
From new releases to old classics.
TV shows,
Almost every show, every episode, and much more. But the question has always been, how do you do it? Well now, thanks to the folks at 123 Ready TV, I have the answer for you. They have developed a simple program app, 123 Ready TV, that you install on your Windows PC, Android smartphone, or Android tablet that can have you streaming like a pro in less than 5 minutes. You truly won't believe how much is available or how easy it is to do until you try. And for a one-time cost of only $19.99, this product is a real winner. To learn more about 123 Ready TV, visit our website at www.xzbn.net.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
True healing must address 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, for us to live joyful and productive lives. We tend to treat 3 of the 4, leaving the spiritual languishing. If you're tired of the same dysfunctional patterns cropping up in your life, Soul Balancing is for you. Trixie Phelps, owner and founder of Soul Balancing, is a naturally gifted energy healer trained in numerous esoteric forms, including shamanism. Trixie has created a powerful modality that safely and effectively clears your energetic field. A soul balancing session can remove interference, heal trauma, and restore your hope. Contact Trixie for a life-changing long-distance session today, www.soulbalancing.world. There's a legend shared by many indigenous cultures of a time when the nations were cast to the 4 corners of the world. Each nation was given a body of sacred knowledge that held a different portion of the truth to preserve. True reality could not be known until all the nations reunited, combining the information. If a single one was missing, the world could not be reborn and darkness would prevail. The Science of Magic Radio is dedicated to reuniting the sacred knowledge. With the understanding, none of us has all the answers, but together we can open new perceptions and possibilities. Through our combined vision, the world can be reborn into a place where darkness no longer prevails. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, and the Science of Magic daily on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net, or visit us at thescienceofmagic.net.
Welcome back to The Secret to Everything. I am Dr. Kimberly McGeorge. This is sponsored by secrettoeverything.com, and we are talking to Ms. Samantha Lee Wright, who is a doula in the High Country of North Carolina. And we're not going to go back and tell you what High Country means. You guys can look it up. or you can use your imagination because it's not that difficult to figure out. But as we were going to break, I started talking about the delicate energy field around our body, and Samantha was just sharing how she lived off grid. Well, I call it off grid because it's probably not totally off grid, but I call it off grid because when you say no running water, I immediately think off grid because that's what off grid means to me. But I just think it's absolutely amazing. I just want to encourage you guys to realize that we are energetic beings that need recharging. We run exactly like a battery. And when we go in the cities, and some people love to live in the cities and they say they thrive off the energy of the city. My guess is you may be a little bit of an energy vampire because the only thing to really feed off energy-wise off the city is what? Other people, and there's plenty of people to get your energy from. But the really cool thing about being out in nature is you can be in the presence of a waterfall and receive the negative ions, and you can be in the presence of plants and take off your shoes and walk on the dirt and the grass and the trees and the birds and the animals. And there's so much similar energy fields that we can recharge our batteries, recharge ourselves. You've heard people say, I'm going to go camping and recharge my batteries. Well, they really are. They really are recharging that electrical field around the body. So I love that you did that. So she got all stirred up in her year and a half, I guess, for the rest of her life. I'm sure you still enjoy, because it is beautiful country. I'm sure you still enjoyed that. All right. So I just have to take a little, we'll get back to doulas in a minute. I just have to take another bunny trail because I want to talk just briefly about your podcast, if you don't mind, and about essential oils. At what point in your journey, was it while you were being a doula, or did essential oils become such a passion of yours?
Yeah. So I started the Essential Oil Revolution podcast about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. And a year before that was the first time I'd been introduced to essential oils, or at least the sort of therapeutic use of essential oils. And the timing came along that I was pregnant with my second child. And for me, my pregnancies are hard. They take a lot out of me. And so does birth work as a doula. So I had to take a little break from being a doula because I just physically couldn't do it. And then essential oils got introduced to my world, and I need to be doing something all the time. So I was like, well, I'm just going to do this instead for a while until I can get back to birth work. So that's sort of how that journey began.
And the podcast is, I take it, as I saw in your bio, successful. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I'm so grateful for just the community that we've built there. We have almost 10,000 listeners per show or per week that tune in, and everyone's just so excited to learn about this one tool that they can add to their toolkit to really add a level of wellness to their lives. That's just such an easy, simple, and beautiful thing. So we've been having a ton of fun on the podcast. It's been great.
Yeah, so you guys can look that up. And at the end, toward the end of the show, Samantha, I'll let you give all that information so you can share that, if you don't mind, about your podcast as well, because that's really, and I've got to tell you, Samantha has like some of the coolest guests. Like one time she had Dr. Kimberly McGeorge on. It was so cool. So you guys definitely need to, that's still available, Samantha, to listen to the archives?
Yeah, you can find any episode that we've done, on iTunes or
Wonderful.
On the website.
So you guys might want to check that out because, as you can imagine, I believe I talked about possibly frequency. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, you did. It was a very popular episode.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I should look up on iTunes. Okay. Anyway. All right. Back to doulas. So I think now, as we started talking about this, my impression, and this is really true, I think this is what I believe. I think that doulas are for people like me, people that have home births and people that have midwives and people that are like, I'm kind of like a weird pseudo hippie. Like I pretend to be hippie and then I like really nice things. I'm like somewhere in a weird morph of that. So are doulas only for people like me with like home births and midwives and do it yourself, childbirth people?
If you had asked me that question, I think 3 years ago, I would have probably said yes. And I've gone through a big evolution in my journey, in my kind of raising the profession of doulas, along with this other big group of women who are really trying to raise the profession up to a level where we realize that doulas are for everyone. And part of the gift of being a doula is the gift of unbiased care and non-judgmental care. So for a client that is really into home birth and natural birth and essential oils and, all the things that me personally probably am into as well, we're a great match. But as a doula and with that non-judgmental care, we're also an amazing match for women who want maybe the complete opposite. So when I first got started, actually, my drive sort of came from the fact that I live in a state where it's very difficult to gain access to legal home birth midwives. So I kind of had to make that hard choice of, do I want an illegal home birth at home, or do I want to birth at the hospital, luckily where there was certified nurse midwives. But that's a very different thing. And I was terrified of giving birth in the hospital. I just thought oh my gosh, there's no way I can have a good experience coming from this. But I did. I had a really wonderful experience. And I think a lot of that had to do with my background as a childbirth educator. And so I kind of came out of that really with this huge drive to help other women who kind of wanted that home birth type experience, but in the hospital. So that's a lot of my background. But now I'm just really proud to be able to say that I can be a doula for any woman. I've even had women call me and say, I really want to plan cesarean. And I talk to them about, well, tell me about that. What's your story there? And, at the end of the conversation, I find myself going, you know what, that's great. I would love to be your doula and help you have the best experience you can out of that planned cesarean. So it's been a huge evolution just personally, and also just on a grand scheme of doulas as a profession, that we are sort of elevating and going to this different place.
That's super cool. So, now don't yell at me, but to me it sounds like you kind of I'm playing devil's advocate, by the way, you guys. I'm really not this dumb. So to me it sounds like you just kind of hang out and chit chat and laugh and make jokes and maybe rub her feet, and is that all you do? You just kind of hang out, and what do you do?
We do nothing, right?
That's what I'm trying to say.
There and get paid. So, no, I think it is kind of hard for people to wrap their heads around what a doula does, because it does look different for every birth and every client as well. But depending on when you hire your doula, pregnancy, she can be a huge resource for you as well. So she can help you develop a birth plan if that's what you want. She can help you learn about different options and alternatives. Usually a good doula is going to have a really good inside knowledge for wherever you're planning to give birth, including, the doctor or midwife that you're planning to birth with, and can give you a lot of insight into what it's going to be like and alternatives if that's what you're looking for. She should have a really vast knowledge of the local resources around you for birth and parenting. And then she can really help you make the decisions that you need to make by asking questions and drawing out that information from you without judgment, which is so rare to get in pregnancy. You've always got people telling you their opinion and that you're doing it wrong, and your doula should not do that or make you feel that way at all. So, and then when those unexpected challenges come along, she can really be that listening ear and that confidant. She can really bolster your confidence for birth and just remind you how strong and awesome you are. And then during birth, there's so much that we can do, and it depends a lot on what the clients are wanting. So sometimes I work with, I was at one birth, and it was the mom and her husband, her mom, her sister, and her two best friends, and me. And then the nurse and the midwife and everyone in the hospital room too. And so it was this really interesting experience where I wasn't really physically doing very much, but I was kind of constantly whispering in people's ears, hey, it looks like she could really use, a rub on her hip right now or whatever. And it was this really interesting experience. And then I got a text message later from that client, and she said, I just want to thank you so much for helping me have that experience. She said, I told my husband it seemed like he knew exactly what I needed when I needed it. And he said that he wished that he could take the credit, but actually I was telling him what to do the whole time. So sometimes we help partners really connect together. That's what I see my main role being. So I get the partner really involved if that's what they want to do. And if not, then, they wait outside the room and I'm there doing all the physical massaging and rubbing and hip squeezes and teaching her all the different positions that she can do. And, when it comes time to push, just remind her how strong she is. So it's a pretty physically intense role, and then also emotionally intense as well. And just really helping keep the environment calm, being sort of the liaison between her and her care provider when needed. So there's, I don't know, I hope that makes it a little more clear. It's a lot that we get to do.
That's super cool. It's so funny because I needed you because, well, number one, in one of my births, my midwife almost didn't make it and her car broke down and we had to go, you've heard these stories a million times. We had to go pick her up and she walked in and I'm about to have the baby on the floor. Like, it was crazy. And then another birth, another one of mine at home, I was reading this book, and I had been reading this book, during pregnancy, called, you'll love this, Childbirth Without Pain. And so I'm like, oh, I better go. I'm in labor in my bed and I'm like by myself because my, who knows where my midwife is. She wasn't there yet. And I'm reading this book and all of a sudden I had a really bad contraction. And I remember just whipping it across the room and it hitting the wall and sliding down. And I'm like, okay, this is not going to be, I'm just giving up that concept. It's not, and I think having someone, I'm by myself, like trying to read this book, that's different from like having a real live cheerleader saying, okay, well, relax into it. And this is when you breathe, like you said, and, smell this essential oil and, whatever. It's just different having someone there. Like you said, I think the key word that you keep saying is the word knowledgeable. And even though, and this is another thing, and anyone who's had more than one pregnancy or more than one birth, each one, and you too, Samantha, each one is so unique. Like you keep saying, the women is unique, the situation, the where, the how, the why, everything's so unique. And so there really is no way, I've had 4 babies and each one was so radically different. I couldn't have prepared by reading a book, or even the herbs that I took and the oils. And I'm not just talking essential oils, you guys, I'm talking about, what I mean, like apricot or olive or, whatever, like even the types of plain oils I use, just everything was so different, just like your kids are different. Each birth is different. And so I can just really see how what you guys do is so useful. You could be really on your 13th baby and still need that coaching and assistance. And again, I want to point out, you guys are like, oh, I wouldn't want to spend the money, or I don't really need that. I don't think we always know what we need. Sometimes, I mean, there's a reason they say pregnant women are crazy, right? Well, there's a reason they probably say women are crazy. But I think sometimes we just need that outside perspective. I think that's one thing I just love the most about what you're saying about doulas. But we don't have time to dig into some other things. We will let you know, because I know some of you are like, okay, I'm flying Samantha to Spain because I am going to have her for my next baby, although I imagine she's very busy with her own family. But we'll dig into some other stuff right on the other side of this break. We are here with Samantha Lee Wright. She has her own essential oil podcast, and she is a High Country Doula right here on The Secret to Everything with Dr. Kimberly McGeorge.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401 0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? I'm Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, and on The Secret to Everything, we will merge the practical with open investigation into all realms of the mysterious. We will talk to cutting-edge alternative health practitioners, those who inspire and motivate you in business and life, and of course, we will share stories of the paranormal, conspiracy, and cryptozoology. You will transform because of the frequency I carry, the frequencies my guests carry. Life may never be the same after you listen to this program, for the secret to everything is for you, the listener, for those who desire more in every area of their lives and believe that it can still be found. Listen and discover thesecrettoeverything.com.
Little children aren't the only ones afraid of the dark. Millions of soldiers return from war zones with PTSD, anger, frustration, fear, and loneliness, much of which surfaces during the darkness of the night. You have the chance to change the lives of these American heroes. Songs and Stories for Soldiers.us provides free MP3 players for these men and women. With a list of 3 million songs in 16 different styles, 100,000 audiobooks, and 30,000 old-time radio programs, every veteran can find something to soothe and comfort them at no cost. All our players contain an 8-hour audio program designed to help veterans fall asleep. With 1,500 plus vets now participating, it's our goal to deliver 10,000 audio players this year. Go to our website at songsandstoriesforsoldiers.us. Help us help a veteran make it through the night.
Welcome back to The Secret to Everything. This is Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, and we are here with Samantha Lee Wright. She has a beautiful, wonderful podcast. She'll tell you about it in a minute. And she is an actual doula. And if you missed the whole preceding thing, you guys can just Google it at this point and catch up and stay with us. She is the owner of a beautiful agency where she, I believe, and I'll ask you this question, do you actually train or have any kind of training that you've developed or classes? Like, do doulas just come to you like they're magical, like Mary Poppins, or do you help people to be, I honestly don't know, or do you help people like, and what made you, Samantha, I don't know if you've even asked this question, what made you say, I would like to be a doula?
Oh gosh, where do I, okay, that's a lot of questions. Let's see. So what made me want to become a doula? I'm actually kind of the oddball in the doula world. So I'd say most doulas either have a really amazing birth experience or a really traumatic birth experience. And from one of those two places decides I need to, help other women, so they can either have that amazing experience or not have that not amazing experience. So that's where a lot of people kind of come from. I have actually been fascinated by birth since I was young, like 19, before I even thought I'd have my own babies. I actually wasn't even sure if I wanted kids. And I just really fell in love with with birth, that whole process and what it kind of means and what it means in a larger sort of political spectrum as well, and feminism and lots of different kind of strings that tied together for me when I kind of started learning more about childbirth. And so I thought I wanted to become a midwife, and I started down that road, and then I became pregnant and said, maybe that's not the best thing, but I can do this doula thing. It's not as intensive as becoming a midwife. So, and then you kind of mentioned training. So I'll just say when I first started, I trained with sort of the largest doula organization, training organization out there. And did that for a while. And then recently I have sort of retrained and recertified through a different organization called Pro Doula, who, in my opinion, I think is really just raising the bar when it comes to training programs for doulas. So if someone's out there like, I want to do that, that would be my recommendation of where to start. Just go to the Pro Doula website and find a training near you. So for my agency, we work with Pro Doula trained doulas only for various reasons. And then after they've kind of come into our agency, we do a lot of one-on-one mentoring. They get a lot of ongoing education just through us. I have a wonderful business partner. Her name's Allison Rollins, and she's been doing this work for 15 years. And so together we've sort of meshed our skills and our expertise together. And we just absolutely love every minute of it and love our team and the way that we get to grow with them and help them really be the best birth workers that they can be.
That sounds so nice. So you keep mentioning postpartum doula, and we even joked, if you guys listen to the beginning of the show, that where does that period end? So what does that mean, postpartum doula? What services do you provide? I imagine that means after, the baby is born. How long does that go on in it? And at what point do people, kind of stop having a doula or start having a doula, even if they didn't have one? Because you said in your business, they're divided into labor doulas and postpartum doulas?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm so glad that you asked, and I'm glad we have a little bit of time to talk about postpartum doulas, because to me, this is really the most important role that a doula can play is in the postpartum period. Because especially in America, it's just not a pretty scene. I'll be honest, when women have their babies, there's such little support. And, places like Germany and Iceland and the Netherlands, women basically get postpartum doulas for free, just as part of their basic healthcare plan. They have access to in-home care for 1 to 8 weeks after birth. And here in America, women are pretty much just they get sent home after a couple days in the hospital, or maybe just 1 day in the hospital, and they're just, good luck. And they don't see their care provider for like 6 weeks on average. The postpartum depression rates in America are like doubled compared to these other countries. And it's a very difficult time in a lot of women's lives, especially in a country where we really paint new motherhood as this very angelic, beautiful, cuddle your baby and just be in love the whole time kind of thing, when in actuality, new babyhood is freaking hard. It's really challenging, and there's a lot of women really struggling. So postpartum doulas, we get to fill a role that used to be provided to every mom after she gave birth, but now is sadly just kind of a luxury for the struggling moms. So we get to go into their home. I mean, we have a service at our agency at High Country Doulas where we can meet you at home, or it kind of liaison you home from the hospital and be with you on that first night home with your baby, just to give you that extra support. We can be there for every feeding to make sure that it's going okay. We can give you some tips and tricks when it's not. We can help you get some sleep. Women coming out of childbirth are so sleep deprived, and it really takes an extra set of hands or 2 or 3 to really help that mom get the rest that she needs to recover after childbirth. We can help keep her fed, keep her nourished. We cook her really awesome, nourishing foods. We keep her freezer stocked for when we're not there. There's so much that we do, and I could go on forever about just how postpartum doulas can really change your family dynamics. They can help your family thrive during those early postpartum months, as opposed to most families who just really struggle through that journey.
I was thankful that I had my mom, to be there and kind of provide that role for me. But they, usually at the time my mom was still working and she left pretty soon. So it would have been just lovely to have you waiting in the wings to step in and continue that, aftercare or one of your beautiful teams. So, Missy Samantha, how do we get a hold of you? How do we listen to your podcast? If we live in the western part of North Carolina, how do we come to your clinic or find you? Tell us all about how to get a hold of you.
Sure. So yeah, if you happen to live in my little small part of the country and you're looking for doula services, you can look at our website, highcountrydoulas.com. I'll give a pitch. This is not my business, but if you're in a different area of the world looking for a really high quality doula, you can go to prodoula.com, and they have a search function on their website. So you can search by zip code to see if there's any pro doula trained doulas in your area. If you want to listen to my podcast where we talk about essential oils all day in and out, which is so much fun, you can find us on iTunes or Stitcher at The Essential Oil Revolution, or our website, which is revolutionoils.com. I think that's pretty much all that matters for your audience. So I'll leave it at that.
Well, I am so delighted to talk to you again. I had a great time on the podcast. I highly recommend you guys check that out. Samantha really covers the gamut of, I think, subjects and different types of oils and just lots of education from, different people. So I really appreciate you bringing that to the world as well. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for the light that you are being on this planet today. And I am sure you and I will be encountering each other in some way shortly. So I really appreciate you being on.
Likewise. Thanks so much for having me, Kimberly. It's great to talk to you again.
And as always, another amazing and informative guest. See, I know cool people, you guys. I keep telling you, you have to keep listening. You never know who might be on. I've got to tell you, I really enjoyed our Ron Moreland show. If you didn't catch that and you love cryptozoology and Bigfoot, that is an awesome show. And you need to listen to the archive if you missed that. So Google it, find it, listen to it. It is awesome. We're going to have incredible, amazing, and profound guests. Sometimes I like to tell you about them. Sometimes you guys just have to listen because you never know. We might even have a double show like we do sometimes. And that is absolutely a lot of fun. Such an important topic for families, such an important topic for women, getting that love and nourished care. I really want to just talk to you briefly about self-care. I have a friend who's a beautiful healer. She actually lives out that way where Samantha is, and a beautiful healer capable of just nourishing. She's a licensed massage therapist. She's a craniosacral worker, and yet she gives and gives and gives and gives. Is it sounding familiar? Like a mother, like a pregnant woman, like a wife, like a husband, like anybody, really, like a human being. We overgive and we give to exhaustion, and it feels decadent and guilty to even think about taking care of ourselves by hiring somebody like a doula. But it is so important, you guys, those of you who serve and those of you who give and overgive, who are parents and caretakers of their parents and of young children, and some of you work 2 and 3 jobs and you're just exhausted. Please remember there are resources, there is healing, there is help, whether you're a pregnant woman, whether you're a man, whether you're a child. Please take care of yourself. If you're listening to this show, then you are more than likely either waking up awake, or like I like to say, woke, and that's a whole nother topic. But we need you. We need your light on the planet. We need you to be energetic. We need you to be healthy. We need you to be here and do the thing that your soul came here to do. Learn more about all this stuff. You can go to Secret to Everything. You can Google Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, KimberlyMcGeorge, secrettoeverything.com. Again, we have so many resources. We're working on getting some more free resources up, processes, and some free MP3s on the website. Whole archive of shows on about everywhere. X-Zone's really good about putting our shows up everywhere. So I really encourage you, if you've just discovered the show, to go back and listen to the ones that we've already done that you have missed. If you are interested in being on the show, there's a form on the website. If you have suggestions, again, you can fill out a form and tell us who you would like to listen to. As always, we're so grateful to you. We love you, we appreciate you, and we thank you. SecretToEverything.com. I'm signing off for today, Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, and you are listening to The Secret to Everything.